Hello, and welcome to the Great British Mickey Waffle. I'm your host tonight, Jill, and today I would like to start by wishing all our American friends a very happy 4th of July, which is just around the corner. And that got me thinking about summer in Walt Disney World. Now, as you'll know if you're a regular listener, I am definitely not an expert in that field. But fortunately, some of my fellow wafflers can advise me on why it's their favourite time to go and how you can have a trip worth melting for. For today's show, I'm joined by my fellow wafflers, Claire. Hi, Claire.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Are
Hi,
you
John.
melting?
Not melting at the moment, no.
We have been.
How about you, John, up north? Are you melting there?
I want to build a snowman. That's exactly it.
Excellent.
I am
the big rendition of In Summer.
Yeah,
and things
yes,
like that,
totally.
that's what's needed.
going to be channeling my inner Olaf tonight.
Yes.
Not just for the warm hugs.
Oh. And we have Simon. Hi, Simon.
Hello. How's everybody?
Good.
Yeah, good. Thanks,
Yeah,
Simon, I love the
bad,
fact you're wearing a yellow shirt. So in my this is going to sound ridiculous. In my house, if you go past a yellow car on the road, does everyone else play yellow car? You can hit the person in the car that's with you.
It's just you.
And I'm, in our house, Morgan and Millie bash each other all the time, and me sometimes sort of driving the yellow car, and I'm just desperate for Robin to poke you and go, yellow shirt, and hit you every 2 minutes.
That's funny. She doesn't usually need a yellow shirt.
Lovely yellow shirt you're wearing.
Make a mental note, never accept a lift from Claire. And
Yeah,
also,
that,
as well as Simon, we have Robin. Hi, Robin.
Hello.
Hi. What's on your T-shirt tonight? I can't see from here. What have we
A
got?
little figment, not as topical. It's a little figment pocket.
Oh,
It's
it can't be
perfect for
figment.
Festival of the Arts, but
Perfect. Yes, love it.
excellent.
Good. Well, you may have noticed that Ben and
Excuse me.
Don't Jill, nobody noticed. It's fine.
Yeah. Quick.
It was our
swiftly
28th
on,
wedding
Jill.
anniversary 2 days ago as well.
So you've had your day of celebration, Peter.
That's it, Peter. That's it. You've had it now.
And last but definitely not least, we have Peter.
Hey up.
Good evening.
Good evening. Right. We don't have any yellow clothes, but we have yellow paper, so
Yeah.
I guess I might be in trouble soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, Jill. Just smack him on behalf of everyone else. That's it.
Oh, no. No, I need my regular fix of chocolate fudge cake.
If you get to the show notes and Peter's got 2 black eyes, we'll know why.
We're only staying
Or
together
maybe-
for the John Lewis discount. So
Yeah.
Maybe Claire will just yell out, "Yellow car." That'd be it.
Oh. Now, the eagle-eyed among you may notice that Ben and Becca are not with us tonight. That is because at time of recording, they are busy enjoying the magic at Walt Disney World.
Right.
Still.
But
Look at them.
by the magic of editing, we're going to hear from Becca shortly because she's going to take us on our next decade of adventure in the history of Disney. Now, before we begin the show, we'd like to share with our listeners a little bit of what we do at the Great British Mickey Waffle. We are a positive band of British voices, united in all things Disney, and we share our unique perspective, and I say that advisedly, on the latest news, updates, and events from the Disney parks and resorts. We've got a twice a month podcast. So this one is out on the 1st, and there's also one out on the 15th. And along with that, we have our weekly live show, Wafflers Wednesday, which is on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. UK time every week. So please, if you haven't already, do subscribe on your podcast app of choice and over on your YouTube so that you don't miss any of the fun stuff that we've got coming up. Now, as I mentioned, we are counting down to our 100th episode of the Great British Mickey Waffle. Can you believe that? And to do that, we've got a journey to the century. And this month, we're handing over to Becca to share Disney's story between 1963 and 1973. So take it away, Becca.
The decade between 1963 and 1973 was indeed a significant period for the Walt Disney Company, marked by several noteworthy events and achievements. In 1964, Walt Disney introduced groundbreaking concepts at the New York World's Fair, showcasing attractions like It's a Small World and Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. These innovative exhibits later found their place in Disneyland, captivating visitors with their charm and technological advances. The following year, in 1965, the company achieved a major milestone with the release of Mary Poppins, a film that blended live action and animation. The critically acclaimed movie went on to win 5 Academy Awards, solidifying Disney's prowess in both realms of filming. Tragically, 1966 brought sorrow as the visionary founder of the company, Walt Disney, passed away on December the 15th at the age of 65. His loss was deeply felt, but his legacy continued to thrive through the work he has left behind. In 1967, Disney released The Jungle Book, which was the last animated film personally overseen by Walt Disney himself. Based on Rudyard Kipling's book, this charming film became a resounding success, becoming Disney's second highest grossing animated film in the United States and Canada at the time. The decade also saw the release of other notable films, such as The Aristocats in 1969 and Robin Hood in 1973, both of which garnered their own share of popularity and acclaim. Meanwhile, in the realm of television, the Disney Anthology series, which had been a staple since 1964, was renamed The Wonderful World of Disney, after Walt Disney's passing. The show continued to captivate audiences and enjoyed high television ratings, remaining popular well into the mid-70s. Another major endeavour during this period was the realisation of the Florida Project, which had been Walt Disney's dream. Construction began in 1967, and in 1971, Walt Disney World opened its gates to the public. Roy Disney, Walt's brother, played a critical role in ensuring the project's completion. However, he sadly passed away just 3 months after the park's opening, having fulfilled his brother's vision. These events, amongst others, exemplify the growth and expansion of the Walt Disney Company during the years 1963 to 1967. This transformative decade laid the foundations for the company's continued success and its enduring impact on entertainment and popular culture.
Thanks, Becca. Some amazing stuff happening there. Mary Poppins is definitely one of my favourite films. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm more in line with just how those films have become completely synonymous with what Disney's all about. When we keep looking back every month and we keep looking at how the animation studio was, churning out some of the most amazing films that you still watch today. Jungle Book in particular. You just think of how that became such a part of certainly everyone's childhood at that, in that particular era. But also looking now, while that was all going on, we had the Florida Project, and again to start expanding on the theme park bit, it blows my mind. It really does. I think it's quite incredible, to actually put that all together, and certainly after Walt's death, how Roy took that on as such a massive project. I think primarily that must have been such a difficult thing to do. After the death of your brother, is to actually pick up the pieces of all that was left there in order to see it to fruition, but also to see it go on and grow. And that's a bit in the next few months that we're going to have that ability to see how that initial theme park became what we know and love now.
Yeah.
And it's just like absolutely incredible. It really is.
I think you're right, John, in terms of, that absolute commitment to ensuring that it goes ahead from Roy, despite all the challenges. I know some of us have done the Keys to the Kingdom tour, and that is a very strong thread that runs through that whole discussion, and recognising Roy's role in that. And I think that will come out through the next month, hopefully. But for me, all of these months, they're so interesting when you just see the layers, the layers of the onion, and how they all stack up to create what we see today. And for me, it's always like what's going to be in the future when you see all how things have been created and how things have moved forward at a really quite fast pace. And I think that pace will get quicker and quicker as we move forward to modern day. So just a few months left.
One thing that I always remember from watching videos from this era and documentaries is that the animation section reused a lot of set pieces, which some people think is very clever and some people think is cheating.
Yeah.
But certainly Robin Hood and Jungle Book
and Aristocrats.
Yeah. All amazing movies, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. I've got a soft spot for Thomas O'Malley.
Oh, Robin Hood's just the best.
He's a fox.
Thing as well.
He is a fox.
Picking up on that. Yeah. Peter, just picking up on that, though, as well, because also, at the same time, Walt, before his death, was doing the TV show as well, which probably, you think about it, it was shown repeatedly through the 70s, and certainly when we got our first colour TV, which probably about 79, something like that, knowing our family. But to see that in colour and see animals in colour on the TV for the very first time was actually quite a massive step on. Yet Walt was already filming it and actually putting it out as content, which again just shows how cutting edge in quite a lot of things that the Disney Corporation were actually involved in. Not just the animation, but also the theme parks, but then also in how they were using TV as a form of promoting the theme parks on both coasts as well, which is absolutely unheard of, and probably that subliminal sort of advertising for things moving forward as well.
But also the reusing of different things was not uncommon in different forums. So you talked about the reusing of animation. When you look at the animatronics that they have in Disneyland, you might have found a couple of presidents in the Pirates Caribbean. Just saying. Yeah. If you listen carefully, you'll find them all over. So
half of what's been taken down at Splash Mountain is from America Sings, isn't it?
Right. So efficiency at scale was a huge part of how that company functioned at that time, because actually it's expensive business. So if you can reuse them,
green before it was cool. There you go.
Right.
So talking about the parks, it's never far from our minds, is it? Here at the Great British Mickey Waffle, and I will say, at least 2 of our number have plans very soon to visit again. So I thought, let's talk about all the good reasons to go at this time of year. Hit me with it, guys. It's a new one on me. It's not something I've done. So convince me. Yeah. What are your favourite things to do? Favourite reasons why this is a good time to go? All the great things that you can do at this time of year.
I'll tell you what, Jill. For some people, and this is where this can be a completely helpful part of someone's planning for either this summer or next summer. I actually think for many families in particular, summertime is the only time that is actually suitable, given the fact that we end up, people get fined for taking children out of school. You're limited onto, as to when you can actually go. So the summertime itself, actually, for a lot of people planning a trip with a family, becomes their only opportunity. And I actually think, from experience, it's the one time a year where I've always been told before my first visit, it's like, it's too hot. Florida in summer is unmanageable. Well, I kind of went down that route to begin with, and we went for Christmas a couple of times, and we enjoyed it. And then thought, well, I want to go for longer than 10 to 14 days. So we went during August, and we've done trips of 3, 4, 5 weeks. And actually, it's actually easier to go to Florida and to deal with the heat and the sun than it is to go to Spain. I cannot abide the heat. The heat in Spain, the heat in Greece absolutely fries me. You go to Florida, it's completely different. It is manageable. It's doable. It's something that, as long as you're not wearing a grey t-shirt, and don't wear grey. Don't wear grey. It doesn't look very good within about 3 or 4 seconds of actually putting the grey t-shirt on. But it is the most amazing time to be visiting the parks, and it changes. So, for example, if you went for the end of July into August, as you get further into August, it completely changes. I know, Claire, you tend to go towards the back end of August.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know about you. I love going to Florida in summer. It's just the most amazing place. Yes, you occasionally get an afternoon storm, but hey, you can set your clock by it. And also, it's still manageable. Everything's, to me, that's the best. The only thing, if you take nothing else from this month's podcast, is that a summer holiday at Walt Disney World is manageable, it's doable, and actually, it is amazing. It really is.
Mm-hmm. John, do you know what? I couldn't have said that better, because actually, when you, if anyone's been on any like Disney Facebook groups, any forums, any sort of social media where people are talking about their trips to Walt Disney World, and someone throws in, you can see it coming. It's like this big siren goes off, and someone goes, "I've heard that going to Walt Disney World in the summer is a nightmare. What's everyone's opinion?" And it's almost like this great big siren. And everyone chimes in with, "It's hot, it's sweaty, it's awful, it'll rain every day, it's far too busy," all of that stuff. And I could not disagree more. So, as you say, we tend to go the last couple of weeks of August, beginning of September. We have been lucky enough to go the last week into the first couple of weeks of September before. But I would say that in the last 18 months, I have been summer, October, Christmas, and Easter. And I love them all. They're all different. Yeah. But for me, the summer is the time I would absolutely choose to go, because of all the different things that are happening. It's this perfect collision of the summertime, the fall coming in. You get a bit of everything. You get different flavours. You can turn up in the park one day and look like one thing, and then you come the next day and it's completely different. And it's such a lovely time. And as the fall starts to settle in towards the end of August, it's towards the end.
Good joke there, Claire. 2nd of August, the pumpkins are going in.
I know, but it looks so pretty, and I actually love that period of time. We go then again. It's about school holidays for us. Millie is still at school, so we choose our time carefully. And she does get longer holidays, so we could go at the beginning of the summer holiday. We could go at the beginning of July. But that's when the American schools are there. That's when it's full of other tourists. And actually, towards the end of August, like by the 3rd week of August, a lot of schools have gone back.
It's generally it's when Scottish schools go back. So it was about the 18th
of
onwards,
August, something like that.
It starts dropping off.
Are you suggesting it's better where there's less Scottish people there?
No, not
all our Scottish listeners. That's not what we're saying.
Not for a minute, because actually I know so many people from Scotland who listen to this show that I get along.
I'm going to say, does Sammy still know where you are?
Yeah.
Sammy doesn't go in summer anyway. We're all right.
Yeah. Any Scots don't go in the summer because they'll burn. I know that's.
But Claire, Claire, but that is the pretext under which
I
everyone
know.
is kind of told, and I'll openly admit, and this is a horrible thing to say, right? If you go to Florida in the summer, I know everybody's different, but if you go, I generally don't touch an awful lot of sun cream because you tend to be able to manage it. Yes, you have your morning sun cream and stuff like that. However, you go to Spain and half an hour, you go from that feeling of being a northern blue kind of tinge to lobster red within
British
30 minutes
lobster.
in Spain. Yeah, but you don't get that in Florida, and it is a
Oh,
completely.
you definitely get that in Florida.
I
John,
don't. You see, I don't.
We even play the game How to Spot the Brit. You can tell because they're white with red bits.
And new white trainers.
No.
Shiny
new white
trainers.
trainers. That's a
New
good
white
one.
trainers,
Yeah.
white skin and burnt.
Yeah.
Like the guy
No,
from
I've
Lilo
never-
and Stitch.
Brit.
The guy from Lilo and Stitch with the sunburn. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
But, I think the summer period is an absolute gem. And people are scared because lots of people say, don't go, don't go. Do you know what? I'm fine, don't go. It'll make it quieter for me. But
Yeah, that's it. That's my view as well.
Do you know what? It is a missed opportunity if you think it's going to be something different. If you think it's going to be too hot, you think it's going to be too wet. It's not. There are strategies to manage, and you learn very quickly.
Lesson one.
Yeah.
Drink as much water as your body is actually getting rid of. So basically, you more than anything else, make sure you stay hydrated. Because it's so
not even water, stuff with electrolytes in help.
Yeah,
with
it's so easy.
Yeah,
it's so easy to just miss that and then wonder after maybe sort of a couple of days why you're feeling really lethargic.
I've got a headache. Yeah.
Just keep
beer and
loads of
margaritas.
stuff.
So alternate them with some other drinks. Yeah, just Gatorade.
I love
is
the
great.
fact. I love the fact that they are now getting more and more bottle filling stations around the parks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I found those really useful.
So
you haven't got to buy that disgusting Dasani water.
At
No.
$6 a bottle.
That's not
But
good.
also,
Jog
people don't know that you can get free iced water from any quick service place. You don't even have to queue up and go to the counter. We popped into Casey's. We said to the CM at the door, "Can we just get some iced water?" Yep, they showed us to a separate counter. Iced water. There you go.
You just go to the pickup counter and they'll pass it out. They usually have it all prepped ready. And some restaurants actually have it on the side, like all the Starbucks have iced water on the side ready for you just to go and help yourself. So you don't have to queue. You certainly don't have to order. Robin and Simon, how often have you been in the summer? What's your experience?
I think
I've done one.
You've done one this sort of time of year. We did a June trip 9 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
the closest to kind of July and August I've been is mid-June.
And so I've done 4th of July once. And we've done early September, so flying out right right at the end of August or into early September.
Yeah.
So similar heat. I mean, 4th of July is something pretty special. It was amazing. And we're going to be there for 4th of July again this year.
Amazing.
Oh, wonderful.
Do they have any special events in the parks?
They do. So they've got 4th of July fireworks in Magic Kingdom on the 3rd and the 4th.
Okay.
So if you don't want to risk being there on the 4th, you can go somewhere, go see them on the 3rd. And then on the 4th, they've got special fireworks in Epcot.
Cool.
But my birthday's the 2nd of July. So it'll be a full weekend of celebrations.
For all the reasons.
Handy hint and tip for us all there, guys. I hope you noticed that. Just drop that in the conversation. If you haven't put your card in the post, we're a bit late.
There's still time.
Hey ho.
It'll be too late now. It's the 1st of July when this comes.
Yeah. Cards are a thing.
Are they northern greeting cards?
I come from slightly different from you guys with the summer. It's not my top choice to visit.
Yeah.
We don't have children, so we're not trying to fit in around school holidays, which I think is such a good point. Like you said, John, going for like 3, 4, 5 weeks. That's the only time of year you can do that, because the school holidays don't last that long the rest of the year. But when you're talking about crowds, in school holidays, you have Christmas, very busy. Easter, very busy. You then get to summer, which isn't as busy.
Yeah.
So
it's manageable.
the advantage.
Yeah.
It's all about strategy, because I do find it quite warm. So you have the fans, the handheld fans, you've got the cooling towels, plenty of drinks, and plenty of air conditioning, lots of sitting down inside watching shows. And I think it can be really manageable. But the best thing for me is the late nights. The parks are open so much later during the summer. It's brilliant. And I'm a huge advocate of go up early, do a few hours in the park, go back in the afternoon and chill for a few hours, maybe even a light little nap. And then back in the evening, and then stay until 11 o'clock at night, because it's a bit cooler in the earlier morning and in the evening. So you're missing some of the heat of the day and you're resting. And I think that's how best to strategize. That's how we do. We tend to do it when we go. And
I guess because there's not the Christmas parties and the Halloween parties and so on, so the parks are open more evenings.
Well,
they're open every evening.
Halloween starts
in
August.
Yes,
yeah.
Of course it does.
Look, if you've never done
Christmas
the Halloween
starts
party,
mid-June, so we're all
Halloween party in costume in late August.
Yeah.
That's about commitment. That's we're not messing about there.
No.
We've properly.
I guess you could always go as Tarzan and Jane.
I don't really feel like
Jane's still got a lot of clothes on though.
There's quite a lot.
Tarzan would be all right.
I'll tell you what, Peter, you and Jill go as Tarzan and Jane, and then we'll put that on our YouTube.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I think
I said I dance my way around
Right.
Epcot. I'll do anything,
Well, there we are. You heard it.
Excellent. There you go. That's sorted.
It'll have to be Tokyo, though. So,
Yes. No, I don't think we will. I think they might not let us back in Tokyo if we did.
You might get
let you back in Japan.
Tokyo.
But I do think, I think the first year that we were there, first couple of years we were there in August, the Halloween party didn't start early enough. It didn't start till sort of mid-September. Now it routinely starts mid-August, which, yes, of course it is ridiculous that Halloween starts mid-August, but there is a reason why, and it's for people just like us who are happy to do it at that time. So that's what I was saying in terms of this perfect coinciding of all these different things. So you've got quieter crowds because the schools have gone back. You've got Halloween options if you want to do the Halloween party. And let's face it, Boo to You is pretty much one of the best parades that there is. And I would agree. Absolutely love it. And I'm singing it in my head as I'm thinking it's going to be going through my head for days. You've got Food and Wine Festival in Epcot, which I think this year starts right at the end of July. So they've brought it forwards, whereas previously it used to start mid-August. And
previously it was September.
Yeah, this is it. So there's gradually, 6 months of the year is Food and Wine. But Food and Wine is such a great festival just to dip in and out of, especially if it is hot and you don't want to go and have a sit-down meal or you don't want to eat loads of things. You can just graze your way when you're hungry. And then you've got other things that are happening in terms of outside the parks. There are so many things going on that you can access. Did you know about Magical Dining Month?
I thought that was. Is it not September?
So
Magical Dining.
It changed to August.
Oh, amazing!
And that's charity support Magical Dining Month. You can get a set meal in some really great restaurants. So they haven't released this year's dates yet. I checked earlier today, and they haven't confirmed the restaurants that are taking part. But so there are all sorts of things that happen in that time period.
Yeah.
Actually, there's something that happens, and last year was, oh no, it wasn't last year. Where am I going? 2019 was the first time I could go. Well, no, maybe it was last year. No, ignore me. It was last year. H2 Glow Nights at Typhoon Lagoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Saturday evenings through the summer, a separate ticketed event where it's an evening at Typhoon Lagoon. They have DJs, they have all fun floaties, they have special food, special characters.
Yeah.
it's so much fun, but it's only offered during the summer months.
This is it.
Yeah.
So if you don't go during the summer, you've got no chance.
I think as well.
And of
that's
course,
a
water
really good
parks
point,
are both open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
open for
Whereas in
quite
the winter,
extended hours as well. You know, whereas, again,
Whereas-
in the winter, your opening hours is generally one park, and it's not a long day. And if there's a slight breeze, it gets chilly.
You feel
However,
chilly, yeah.
if you go in the summer, the water parks can actually be a really good additional benefit. When you've got your family and you've done park day from opening, like you said, Robin, you go for opening, you go back to the hotel for a bit, and then you go in and you stay till late, and you kind of burn the candle at both ends. You can see your family sort of really just at that stage where we need to do something just to change it up a little bit. So rather than having a day off and going shopping, we often go to the water park, which ends up being a harder day's work than actually going to the theme park, because especially if you go to Blizzard Beach and you're up and down the steps to Summit Plummet, and numerous times, you kind of not only do you feel it in certain places that I won't mention, due to the wedgie effect, but also your knees and your hips feel it, because you've done that many up steps and stairs that you're thinking, oh my word, the flat of the theme park is actually, it's an easy option. The kids don't complain much the following day. I don't know why.
And there's nothing like being at Typhoon Lagoon when it opens, when you've walked up that slope and you're looking out over the pools, and then and then it's like that not mad dash, the Disney walk to find your
the
spot.
fast-paced walk.
And it's because it's so
elbows out.
And it's just like the pools are completely empty, and it's like a glorious view. It's amazing. The music.
Everybody tells me you need to take sandals in the summer.
Yes.
What, in the water?
No, outside the water.
Yeah. The pavements.
The concrete get hot.
Yeah, it does, but I just tend to wet my feet.
If you're walking around, I like my water shoes on. I find the pavement gets quite warm in the summer.
Yeah, there's a couple of rides, and I can't remember off the top of my head, where they're a bit fussy on you putting water shoes on, just simply for probably health and safety. But you've just got to go and enjoy it. The water parks are amazing, and such a different experience as well. But if you're flying from the UK and you've got the 14-day UK ticket, your water parks are also included, and so don't start rocking up and having to buy a day's pass. It is included as well.
And they don't use up a day of your ticket, do they?
They do not.
No.
They're in addition to your 14.
No.
Yeah.
You know, it's a real benefit, and one that
we've still not actually made it to a water park.
Oh, really?
Really?
No, because every time we tried on our second trip, they closed it. First trip was December, and both were closed because it was too cold.
It was too very, very, very cold.
Second trip it was November, and one of the parks was open. But of the 2 days we set aside to try and go, they closed it both days because of the cold. It wasn't cold; it was like 18 degrees. But
that's a bit cold for me, I'll be honest.
They heard you were coming. That was it. Peter and Jill are coming. Close the theme park. That's it.
Yep.
The other thing is, the mini golf.
I will add a note though. In the summer, you've got to keep reapplying the sunscreen in the water parks. It's so easy. Any time of year you have to, but especially in summer. And if you fancy getting a rash vest just to help protect you against those rays, I think it's a good idea. Because you don't realise, once round the lazy river, you need to get out straight away and put more on because it's washed off by then. So,
definitely.
Claire, you were mentioning mini golf.
Yeah, so the mini golf stays open quite late in the summer as well, just like the parks do. I think it stays open until 10.
Wow.
Which is great because you can have dinner and then go play some mini golf. Certainly the ones at Universal stay open until like 1-2 a.m. Which is because it's right there on City Walk. It's really easy.
Yeah.
But I think that as the heat of the day goes down, it's actually quite a nice thing just in the evening to be able to go and hang out. And you can do it as a family, you can do it with a group of friends. You can be, miserable, do it on your own if you really want to, practice your putting. That's John's approach, got to get the practice in.
Next practice time. In, that's it.
Got to beat the boys.
And the penultimate hole on the Fantasia mini golf. The penultimate hole on the Fantasia mini golf, where you have to run past the water.
The brooms.
There's one like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's one great. That cools you down.
There's one that shoots water on one of the bridges in the Winter Summerland.
Yes,
as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we've never done either of the Disney mini golfs.
Have you done any of the mini golfs?
Don't think we have. No.
Oh,
there you go.
We've done Fantasia Gardens twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Fantasia is my favourite film, so it's got to be done. And there's all sorts of nice little.
I think I've only done that course once. I've done the Winter Summerland lots of times.
Yeah, we tend to go there, but also if we go to the Fantasia Gardens area, we always end up doing the fairways.
Yeah, so do we.
Actually, because it brings out the competitive edge. That's exactly it.
I need a few more clubs when we play that one.
The Crazy Golf version doesn't bring out the competitive edge.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, but not in the same way. It's like it's almost like a par 3.
You're not playing against me then.
It's the US. It's the US Open when you turn up at
yeah, it really is. Yeah, definitely. It's, maybe we should reenact the Ryder Cup this year. Get some American friends. That would be so much fun.
Yes.
I thought we were doing cornhole toss.
Oh, that too.
Yes.
Plenty of time.
Well, there is such a thing as chess boxing now, where you play a quick game of chess and then have a round of boxing. Chess boxing. Why can't you have golf and cornhole?
There you go. You've just invented a new sport.
There you go.
Maybe.
Oh dear.
John, I was gonna ask you, right? You've been there in the summer, and I have over the years become very aware of, as the day goes on, it starts this beautiful sunshine, and it does cloud over usually from August onwards, with a view to probably getting a bit of a downpour somewhere around 3:30, 4 o'clock. And you, like me, I am sure, have become aware of those warning signs of when it's going to rain.
Yes.
And I am, there may be people who've never been there in that period of time who don't know what to look for and feel for. Yeah. But I am all too aware of what it feels like when that torrential downpour is on its way.
It's the bit before when it gets it's like a pressure cooker building, right? And you get to that bit where
I'm usually in Germany in Epcot at this point.
Miles away. Miles away
every time.
And it's actually the air goes completely still and calm, and you actually think, okay, it's red hot.
Yeah,
my trainers are getting to the bit where the soles are melting. Check your weather app, because strangely enough, in the UK, the weather apps here say it may rain, it might not rain, or possibly who knows what's going to happen with the weather. In America, the weather apps are very, very precise. And if you actually, again, if you're watching the TV from your hotel room before you go out and you're watching the Doppler radar stuff, it gives it, within about 3 or 4 minutes. And you feel it. You feel that whole intensity of the heat. And you just know fine well, it's just, once you get the little breeze coming
that's
in.
the moment. So it goes really calm. And then the breeze comes through, and it's like, right, we need to find shelter now.
Because inside,
we've got about 30 seconds before this is going to hit us.
It's a really strange feeling, Claire, because actually there's sometimes, particularly somewhere as big as Epcot, and you actually watch it, and you're thinking, do you know something? We're going to get away with this. And
you never do, though.
No, you do. It's really weird.
Yeah.
It is so localized.
I
Because
never get away with it.
oh, Robin,
Never.
it's amazing. We've been sat, even over night time, we've been sat waiting for Phantasmic, thinking, oh, we're going to get rained out. We're going to get rained out. And actually, it's just been a couple of miles further away from.
You can see it on the horizon. You can see the sheet of rain.
Yeah, but you get back to the hotel after watching Phantasmic, and you see all these people coming back from Magic Kingdom, and they're absolutely being annihilated. And you're like, we've had a great night. What happened to it? Have you been on the wet rides at Universal? Like, it's just like, and it's just absolutely drowned. And we've just like, and that's how close it is. You are just, if you're within one of those little pockets of rain, you can get really lucky. And if you do, take it. If you don't, it's one of them ones that you spot the place. And actually, if you're in Epcot, the American Pavilion is a absolutely godsend for during the day. Not only do you get Voice of the Liberty, you also get a great film to go and watch and sit. But the length of the film is so handy because by the time you come out, the sun's come out, the ground is drying, and actually you come outside, having got blinded by the light as you come out, and so you come outside. And go, we've missed it, right? And it's just like, and if you can do that, you actually feel as if you've made the most of your day. It's a really strange thing because you can feel it. Yeah. And like you said, Claire, you get a kind of sixth sense as to when it's coming.
And what's your rain protection of choice in the summer?
None.
Tuta Gusto.
Absolutely none.
Love it.
Because to be honest, by the time you get wet, it's quite refreshing. It's quite refreshing.
Oh no!
But it is that, Robin. It is because if you get wet, it's actually
because if you get wet, then you go in somewhere with air conditioning and you.
Especially if it's really heavy.
Fine. But it's fine.
You know what? We do poncho, but
the only risk with getting wet is what have you got on your feet?
Yes.
Because I've worn like espadrille type toms,
squelching away.
And all of it is like canvas. So apart from a little bit of rubber on the sole, but you're walking even just a few millimeters of water. The whole thing is just soaked. And by the time you've walked, especially if you're at Epcot, if you walked from the back of World Showcase to the exit, you've already developed trench foot by the time you've got into the
I just had this vision of you like walking, the squelching noise as you're walking through.
So always like, if you're not going to take any protection, if there's a chance it's going to rain, always wear something that at least
get wet.
It can get wet and not just sound like you're squelching your way out.
We usually have two pairs of trainers each, one that's wet and one that's dry, so there's always one drying. And that's the thing, throw them in the tumble dryer if you're in somewhere that's got.
I quite like a croc, though,
not
a big flop.
I'm a flip flop.
Croc flip flops. Croc flip flops. They dry.
I'm a flip flop.
The only tried with croc flip flops, like the toe post ones, I found the minute those get wet, they are a death trap.
I think Crocs generally, the minute they get wet,
foot slips in it, and it feels like your foot would slip that fast that it would rip your big toe off.
That's just giving me. I'm getting the heebies already about something like that. I must admit that's.
But John, do you know that moment? Trainers, right? So trainers.
But I'll need to find it for the show notes because actually, there was one time we were in Magic Kingdom and the heavens opened, but there was a guy who was obviously wearing a very, very expensive pair of Nike trainers that were brand new. He wasn't from the UK, I hasten to add, so they weren't totally white.
Reebok classics.
But he'd been to the shop, right? Because he didn't want to get him wet. So he actually got two plastic bags. I think we did this at a live show. We shared it at a live show years ago. But he put two plastic bags on his shoes and on his legs to avoid the shoes getting wet. I surreptitiously took the photograph because I just thought it was the most ridiculous thing to see. So I'm now going to have to dig the photo out to I will find it or put it in the Waffles Arms because it was one of those moments and you're thinking, oh my word.
And I think the rain though, it's just sometimes it's so like you say, there's that moment where it goes really still, and you sort of all look at each other and you go, "Oh, okay, it's that time." And then that wind brushes through, and it's quite a warm wind, but it's starting to, and you can see the darkness on the horizon. You're like, right, let's find shelter now. So you go,
it's that big black cloud that you can see,
and you
know it's going to be big drops.
And the good thing is, if you recognise it and you do it quickly, you get in somewhere dry before all the people that haven't realised it's about to rain, who then run, they're all stuck in the doorways. So,
but then, this goes back to my tip right at the beginning. If you go early in the morning, in the afternoon, you take a couple of hours. Usually those storms come in the afternoon.
Snooze during the rain.
Have a little rest.
But if you do,
if you do it that way, though, Robin, the problem is when you get back to the hotel, and this is something which it dawned on us after about 6 summers in a row, is that why is it we never use the hotel pool?
Because it's raining in the afternoon and you're not allowed
because we always go back and it's suddenly the pool's shut because if there's a hint of lightning within 7 miles of your hotel, they will shut the pool.
The pools in summer are pretty warm.
Yeah,
I remember getting in last June, jumping in and being like, "Oh my god, this is warm."
It's not even pool.
Slightly refreshing.
My kind of pool.
The other signal that there's possibly rain on its way when you're in Epcot, and this is one that always sticks out to me, is suddenly you are, especially if you're in what used to be Future World, you're suddenly aware that Test Track has stopped running.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you don't hear the whizzing of Test Track because there's lightning in the area, so they just
friendship boats stop as well,
completely gone. And then you're like,
the biggest giveaway though, all the shops and all the carts start putting the
suddenly the ponchos are at the front of the store.
They're all suddenly getting ponchos out. Like, oh no,
cost twice as much. Yes,
they don't put the prices up.
No,
they don't.
I've seen them like random times of year when the weather goes very cold. They sell out of their current year jumpers.
They bring out.
They just bring
out whatever they can find.
Sell anything.
Any sort of warm clothing.
Reel it out to the front.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that.
Yeah.
I guess another giveaway is if you're in France and the Skyliners stop moving.
Yeah.
All the Skyliners don't run.
Yeah. And I know it sounds ridiculous and we're joking about it, but do keep your eyes and ears open because, if you don't want to get wet, then there are signals that it's about to happen.
Yes, there are, yes.
As well as getting, you can get some really great weather apps. I've made no secret on this podcast before. I'm a little bit obsessed by them.
Yeah.
And I have no less than, I'm going to check, my phone's right here. I will tell you how many weather apps I actually have on my phone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 11 weather apps on my phone.
Oh my goodness!
I know, and it's really sad.
All of it together, and do like a map and model of predictability.
Yeah, and some of them are brilliant, like Storm Team 4. I love because it has a lightning indicator, so it shows you exactly where the lightning strikes are, so you can see it moving towards you. So you can, but
I think I might be hitting you up for all those app recommendations.
AccuWeather, that's a great one. Carrot,
the AccuWeather one,
and that gives you a sort of a prediction over the next 4 hours of when it's going to rain and how heavy it's going to. I love them. I don't know why I'm so obsessed by them, but I do use them.
Some of the news outlets in Orlando as well, like Wesh 2.
Yeah, I've got Wesh 2. Yeah,
and you actually get them, and actually they've got the radar and stuff like that.
Yeah. And they give you.
It's so accurate though, Claire, and it really does. It actually really annoys me because how can you be that accurate in that
and yet over
part
here,
of the world? And yet over here, they haven't got a clue what's happening like in an hour's time.
What day of the week it is? I think some of those apps are actually great because they're going to predict the rain, but they also give you things like golden hour. When are you going to get great photos in the summer? Because that changes through the year. When is sunset? Because goodness me, for me in the summer, it's like 1 minute is daytime and then 10 minutes later it's dark. When did that happen? It's about 7:30 and suddenly it's pitch black. And I'm like, this it's a really rapid change. And so some of those apps will give you some of that information as well, which is great if you're planning to do something. Or if you want to get great photos. So I use them that way too. I was going to say about... Go on.
Can I add another thing in there, Claire, as well? Because actually, if you are trying to find a little bit of a quieter time to go into the park, and this is a bit where, again, going from experience and going from a little bit of stupidity as well. But if you go against the flow, so if you're sat and you're either in resort and you've not been in the parks that day, and you're thinking, okay, when's a good time to go? The minute the storm starts, get your bag packed, get on the bus, get into the park for when the rain stops. Because what you tend to find is that people who've been there since opening are on the way out after the storm. And so there is a little bit of a change in the people there. What you won't be able to get is shorter queue times, because obviously everything that's got an outside queue, and if people, certainly in the past when it was fast pass, you didn't have the opportunity to, you didn't get your fast pass because it was shut. So there tends to be a backlog of people. With lightning lanes, it'll be the same. So you'll get your time bumped onto a different time. But if you're willing to just go into a park and have it certainly with reduced numbers probably for that first hour or two, as people have maybe gone for food, they've maybe gone back to the resort.
Want to change and get dry.
Get dry, yeah. But it's an opportunity for you actually to make the most of a weather incident. And actually, I think we've generally found that the shows tend to have shorter lines, so that if after the rain, people go in for the rain, afterwards they then go and try and find the rides and stuff like that.
Yeah, the only thing is you can get stuck on the monorail, which isn't a lot of fun. Anyway. But you know, be strategic about it.
Get the bus.
Yeah. And I would say that sometimes just accept it's wet. That's all you can do. And I've been there. We're literally wading almost knee deep at the resort monorail slope where we've been going. There's nothing you can do at that point. You're so sodden right through to your underwear. Just suck it up and go and,
get changed, get dry, get back out.
Yeah. It doesn't ruin your holiday. I think that's what people think. It's going to rain. It's going to ruin my day. It's going to ruin our holiday because we're going to get. Yeah. It's going to rain in the UK. Let's face it. It doesn't ruin your day.
I'm going to say we're British. Come on.
Yeah, we can go rain.
To quote the epic Billy Connolly, "There's no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong clothing." So I just I kind of just deal with it in terms of it may happen, it may not. It's not going to ruin my day. We're going to carry on. We're going to have a great time and take advantage of all those things like the lower crowds after the rain and actually I think it does feel fresher afterwards as well. So it's like
it's really nice afterwards. Right. Yeah. Can I also put just a little bit of a warning for people as well, because if you're staying in a villa, the tendency is that you don't have the same protocols as the water parks have. You don't have the same protocols that the hotel pools have. If the weather is incoming, and if you know for a fact you can see and hear it, please don't go. Even if you've got a lanai, do not go in the pool. It is just one of the most horrible things. Don't think, oh well, we'll be all right because we can hear another family. Just don't do it, because actually you are in severe danger. And what you tend to find is that American families don't do it. It generally tends to be British families that think, oh, we'll be all right because we're surrounded by a metal canopy and we'll be okay because it won't get to the pool. It does, and it's not good. So just bear that in mind. If you're on your own within a villa, be sensible. Be sensible.
Yes.
Also, you're surrounded by a metal canopy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That brings it over.
That's a conductor of electricity. Yes.
Yeah, but the side of things, people actually feel completely safe when they're within that ensconced area. And what I would hate is for someone planning a trip and listen to this as to missed out. Claire, is there anything else we've missed on anything apart from the fact? I think we've missed the fact that if most new rides,
that's what I was about to say. Lots of rides. New attractions do open in that summer period because they're getting them ready.
Always. It seems to always be around Memorial Day weekend. So then that's the end of May, isn't it? Memorial
Day they can still get away with saying opening in summer.
Yeah.
Because that's like the last day of summer, Memorial Day, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they push it to the end, and then they're prepped and ready for Thanksgiving, so they've ironed out any tweaks and things. So
I think as well, one of the other things that used to happen And certainly if there was a certain park that was in need of a bit of TLC, which previously had happened for a few summers over at the studios, and also in Florida in general. Was it 2011? I think I'm going. So either 10 or 11, we had Summer Nightastic, but then also we did the Frozen Summer.
Yeah,
in
in
the
Hollywood
studios.
Yeah,
yeah, and some of the promotional stuff that they actually put in. Keep your eyes open for it. Go and explore it. It's some of them now they keep quite well hidden because it again I think it's that reinvention after shutdowns and etc.
Yeah,
but it will come back, and some of the
little
pop-ups
pop-ups
incredible.
You don't notice that are there, and the Prince Caspian bit. I wouldn't suggest it would be, but
it's not
I remember getting to the end of that. Oh,
yeah,
we're back outside.
Oh, right, okay. But there are definitely things that pop up over the summer. They test things out and give things a go. We've all.
They also don't tend to do ride refurbishments during the summer. They tend to be in the lower season.
Yeah.
So
because it's busy.
Because it's busy, they try to have everything open. One thing that they tend to have open at busy times that they hardly ever have open. Have you ever been to Tom Sawyer Island?
Oh yeah,
Polly's. No.
Have you eaten at the little
Polly's?
Aunt Polly's, yeah.
It's only open during very high peak season.
I think it's only open once in a moon of Sundays at the minute.
Exactly.
But it should be open. Again, it's another place. If they reopened it, it would. It was such a brilliant little place, just kind of hidden. But yeah, that's another good one. But yeah, Tom Sawyer Island, please go and explore, because it's just a magical part of Magic.
It's great in the heat because there's so many shaded areas.
It's brilliant.
You can go and hang
It's
out.
great when it's busy because somewhere it feels quieter. Definitely,
and you get some amazing photographs on there as well, just as you're looking back into the park, and also towards Big Thunder Mountain, towards you get some amazing ones of the ferry, but also of Haunted Mansion as well, as you're looking at a completely different angle that you wouldn't expect. So yeah, there you go.
I think the other thing
a little bit useless information from me,
I think the other thing that I see quite often in the summer, more than I saw at the other times of year over the last year, is that the character meet and greets, particularly for fur characters, tends to be some fairly impromptu ones as you're walking around, where if you think about the time of year when the college programs start and when the new cast members are coming into work in terms of the year cycle, you do find some more impromptu, I'm not going to say opportunities.
Yes, I think that's probably the best way.
To meet characters in places you might not expect. So around the World Showcase, quite often you'll find some various characters suddenly appear just for short periods.
Nice.
And that's a really great opportunity. And I think that keep your eyes and ears about open, because you don't know where they're going to pop up. We've had some great ones over in that section between the UK and Canada.
Don't tell everyone, Claire.
I've got a feeling they've stopped that area.
So
I haven't seen it there for a while.
Yeah.
I've seen it do the America Pavilion more recently.
All sorts of places. You can definitely.
We've had a few, and it's not even it's not even advertised. It just
this is it. They just appear. You wouldn't know that they were there.
Yeah.
And take advantage of it. If you happen upon a character meet and greet that's not advertised, you can get some great experiences. So
call them character paloozas.
Character.
Okay. Yes.
Paloozas.
Yes.
There we are.
They are.
I've heard of that.
They're usually the first.
That's a good way of describing it.
Each of them have appeared in that character role.
Yeah.
But there's nothing official about it, and then they're kind of they're watched over and assessed, and then marked for improvement.
And it's a great opportunity.
They had them in the Hollywood studios as well.
Yeah.
It's often
at the front, out the front near the entrance, which was
just through the gates.
Yeah.
Usually after 4:00. It's usually like later in the day.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
always keep your eyes open.
A top tip somewhere around August time. That's quite a busy July, August. It happens.
And yeah, you get loads of them, loads of characters in one go.
Yeah,
right.
Yes,
we
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fun.
And occasionally some very rare to find ones as well. So if you're an autograph hunter and you want a picture and you want an autograph of a certain character, this just kind of throws you completely off kilter because it's a character. Maybe people are just thinking, "Well, never knew they were in the park still."
Yeah,
and it
actually,
is again, it's just
a top tip if you're looking for an unusual character is usually in the run up to a new event. So say a DVC Moonlight Magic. Yeah. One's coming up in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
You might find that you can only meet a rare character there. However, you might meet them at a character palooza first.
Because they need training.
Yeah.
Just saying. As everybody from a good organisation, continuing professional development is a must.
Yes.
That's probably the polite way of saying it, isn't it?
Yeah. The correct way.
No, maybe. That's what I keep getting told, but hey, I don't believe any of that.
Very corporate way of saying it, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So have we persuaded you, Jill? You're going to go in the summer?
Well, I'm never say never. I think as long as I can rely on a steady stream of Dole Whips to keep me cool. Aircon, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of aircon around. Yeah. There's lots of opportunities to sit and listen to some live music and just take in the atmosphere of things going on around me. You never know. It might happen one of these old days.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, guys, we haven't really explored that very much because aircon is the most sort of ignored part of the whole experience. And we haven't really mentioned it because actually, if you're feeling a little bit warm, each park has got different shopping experiences and shows that you can actually go. You can just chill out. You can actually enjoy the fact that you can walk. You can actually walk if you're feeling really on the back of it and you're walking out of the Park of Magic Kingdom. You can basically walk through the whole of the Emporium and just enjoy the fact that you're nice and chilled. Or go to Hall of Presidents or Carousel of Progress and just enjoy the fact that it's nicely piped into you there. Or go and join the queue for who knows what. Flight of Passage.
Even the little museum in American Adventure.
But one thing to mention if you do feel a little bit overheated is there are first aid in all of the parks.
Yeah.
And if you do feel a little bit overheated and you do feel a little bit like, oh, I'm not feeling too good, head in there. They'll take care of you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if you drink plenty, keep cool, keep it going in the AC, keep with the fans, the cooling towels, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Wear a hat.
Wear a hat. Yes.
That's what nobody's mentioned. Wear a hat.
Expose the photos, Peter. And don't wear a hat on the ride.
On a ride, but going around the park.
So while this ride in the wilderness, you have to take them off on your glasses and put them in the thing, and then you have to get them out of the thing because actually, if you don't remember that and you leave them in, you have to go to the other side of Big Thunder Mountain because the trains cross over, which you always see people who've left really expensive pairs of sunglasses or hats in the pocket. Don't let it be you.
It never happens to me. No, never happens to me.
Good.
I've got my own walking
personal locker.
Locker.
Yes.
I
need to hire myself out. As a mobile locker.
You should do, Jill. I think it'll be a real good advantage way of doing it.
Yeah.
But for anyone listening to this, please, if you've always been fearful of going in August, go and give it a try because actually you won't regret it. We never have. Like I said at the start of the show, I think we did 2 Christmases and then decided we'd go to the summer bit. I think it was 10 or 11 years in a row that we ended up going for the summer. It is just the most amazing time, and you just get to see Orlando at its absolute finest. And I think one of the funniest things that I would ever take from it is the fact that, it's don't listen to other people. Like Claire said, don't listen to the forums where people are telling you, "Oh, no, British people don't go to the US, southern US in the
I
in
think
the
it's
summer."
all about planning and managed expectations. You go know it.
It's manage it,
warm.
Robin.
You take all the precautions you need, and then you'll have a great time. Let's be honest, no time in Orlando is a bad time.
Right.
No.
So you'll have a great time.
No.
I did actually burn myself.
But even in the UK.
Florida.
Oh yeah, in the UK, definitely. Yeah.
I sat on the floor watching the parade, and this was the trip that was 9 years ago. Sat on the floor watching the parade, didn't think anything of it. Hours later, I got out of the shower and I had a bright red bum, and we couldn't work out what it was. And we realised I burnt it on the floor, sitting on the pavement.
Oh, there's a lovely image.
Oh, wow.
But I had 2 little burns.
No, but I could well believe that, because actually there's times where you feel the soles of your feet.
Yeah.
You feel your trainers are starting to melt, and you're just like, ooh. I wouldn't have thought of sitting down there myself, so I must admit, Robin.
I think I need to be Olaf and have my own personal flurry.
No. Olaf has a permafrost now.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
That little cloud of snow that follows you around. That's it. Just like it always does. For you and Peter, it's just always.
No, it didn't last time.
It didn't last time.
But no.
Brought a hurricane.
Is that crowded house?
Yes.
Is that crowded house song? Take the weather with you.
Well, I tell you what, guys, this has been a whole new world for me, to quote another Disney song. It's been really good to learn some great tips and find out all the good things about summer that I've been missing. So whoever is watching and listening, if you're packing now for your next trip, hopefully you've got some great tips on how to get the most out of the magic. If you've got any ideas that we didn't mention, please pop them in the Facebook community, the Wafflers Arms. Tell us what's your special tip or the thing that you love about going in the summer.
Yeah.
And I think for this episode of Great British Mickey Waffle, we've covered pretty much everything. I hope you enjoyed it and hope that it brought a little bit of Disney magic into the day. If you want to stay up to date with everything that we do, and why wouldn't you, follow us on social media. We're at GB Mickey Waffle on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. You can email us. It comes to something when email is old school, but you can do at waffleon@gbmickeywaffle.com if you've got comments and questions or ideas for future episodes. We do love hearing from our listeners, and we do appreciate the support. So if you enjoyed it, please consider leaving us a rating on your podcast app of choice and a review. And don't forget to share the shows with all your friends. If you're watching on YouTube and you enjoyed the show, hit that like button, ring that bell so you'll know when we do something else. And there's just one thing left to say, I think. Waffle on.
Waffle on.
Keep cool.
I'm going to build a snowman.